in the Creator's Confessional, I have someone that embodies honesty, healing, and heart. She's a first-time author, a wife, a mother, and an advocate for the arts. In her debut memoir, Girl, Ain't Shit Wrong With You, is shaking up how women talk about gaslighting, anxiety, and self-worth. She's not just sharing her story. She's starting a movement around truth and emotional freedom. I would like to personally welcome Latoya Bailey.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You did that. I feel like somebody out here doing something.
Okay. How are you?
I'm great, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Thank you.
Little fun fact is, this is our first time actually meeting. Yeah. We follow each other on social media, and I'm glad that we connected and you were willing to come onto the podcast. Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you. Of course. So for those who may not know Latoya, go ahead and give them a brief bio. Just let them know who you are.
Okay. So as you so eloquently said it earlier, just a wife, a mom. And now I can say I'm a published author.
Love it.
A friend to many, and just someone with a message that is finally at a point in her life where she is excited about sharing it.
I love it.
I mean, I could go into my background, my education. I did graduate from Tiffin University with a bachelor's of business administration.
Okay, bachelor's.
I did go to CSU. I noticed that you also currently attend. Yes. And I even got an Associate of Arts degree from Cuyahoga Community College many years ago. So.
Went to Tri-C as well.
Yes.
That's where my associates is from. I graduated in 2023 from there. So look at us.
Yes.
Okay. I love it. So what inspired you to write this particular book?
Okay, so from very, very early on, I knew I was going to write something. Mm-hmm. You know, I never knew what it was going to be in particular. Mm-hmm. And then I've had this amazing journey around self-discovery. And I don't know, I was sitting down one day, I was having one of my high anxiety moments that you'll find out all about when you read the book. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, this is the worst. Like, I really wish that someone would be able to help me through this, or that, you know, like, maybe what is the point of it all? What's the purpose of it all? Why am I struggling and going through this?
Exactly.
And I'm like, it just came one day. I'm like, this must be my story to tell. This must be what God put on my heart and my life to share with the world. And that's kind of what pulled me into starting to write the book. Okay.
And so I know you talk about like having anxiety, and I'm someone that dealt with that as well. But can you take us a bit back about when you start figuring out that you had anxiety?
Yes. Okay. So unfortunately, not that long ago.
Okay.
Once I started doing the internal work, I realized that I've been suffering with it my entire life. Mm-hmm. But I want to say probably somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago, I had a name for it.
Okay.
I mean, growing up in the community that I grew up in, and I don't want to put my age out there, but, you know, I'm not a spring chicken. So back in the day, there wasn't a name for it. Mm-hmm. We didn't call it anxiety. We just said it wasn't shit wrong with you.
Right.
Like, girl, you can move, you can walk, you can talk, there's not a problem. It's not presenting as a problem around us. So for me, I didn't really pinpoint it as anxiety until much later in life. Gotcha. And just the amount of attention that is now being placed on mental health issues and the variances of them and all of the spectrum of it and everything, it started clicking. And I started researching more into it, delving more into it, and getting answers. And I'm like, yep, that's what's going on here.
And it's funny that you say that, because I see a lot like on social media and things like that, where they say that, you know, when we were kids, or when our generations before us, if a child said like they were depressed or they were feeling some type of way, like you said, there might be someone in your family that be like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just need to go take a nap, or, you know, and I don't think that people really understand how that type of response could be a traumatic experience that ends up unfolding as you become an adult, because for so long you hide what you say. And, you know, there's this stigma where they say that men aren't able to express themselves or show emotion. But I also feel that that's the same for women. We just are emotional people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we do express that we're feeling a certain type of way, or, you know, that we're going through something, we also got, you know, that same response back from, it could be a teacher, you know, anyone that
Absolutely.
just really felt like, oh, I don't want, and it's not that they may not have thought nothing was wrong with you. They just may not have been able to really at that time deal with it, because they got so many other things they got to deal with. So that could be you at home with your mom. She got, I don't know how many siblings you got. We're going to get into that. Yeah. But if she's got to deal with you, your siblings and things of that nature, she doesn't have that time to deal with what you're going through at that moment. And it's not she doesn't care.
Yes.
It's just I don't have the time to deal with that right now. So speaking of, you know, you having siblings, what was it like growing up in your household?
Yeah, so I have two younger sisters. I was the eldest of two, and we grew up in humble beginnings. Not a you know, story that's just bizarre or out of the ordinary. My mom was young when she had us, so as a young woman, she's still figuring life out. She's still trying to put the pieces together herself. And then now you have three children that you're trying to support and care for. You know, finances aren't always the best. We're battling addiction. We're doing this without a constant male figure in the household. Okay. Again, it's not a story that's super, you know, just to where you haven't heard it before.
Yeah.
But that was our situation growing up. And so me being, I guess, the next in line or whatever, I did take on a lot of the stress behind trying to keep things in the household together. Okay. And I think that's something that's very normalized in our community. The eldest child does tend to take on most of the responsibility after the parents, whether it's a two-parent household or not. It's just the next in line is typically the ones that are expected to carry the brunt of the weight. Yeah. So whether I was doing that successfully or not, the expectations were always there. And so I learned very early on what the expectations of me were. And I felt responsible for my sisters. And then as my mom was battling her addiction, I felt responsible for her as well.
And so because your mom battled addiction, do you feel that's where your anxiety came from, because you felt like you had so much that you had to attend to and put together and make sure everything was in line, because you're thinking about your mom, but your mind is consistently racing? I mean, that's exactly what anxiety is. Is your mind's just on go. So all do you feel like, exactly, like, you know, you trying to sleep, can't sleep because you're thinking about what you got to do, you know? But do you feel like your mom's addiction, along with you having to tend to everything, is what fueled the anxiety?
I didn't.
Okay.
For a very long time. And then as we went through this whole therapy and we've gone through just internal work, yeah, I do. I feel like that did play a huge role. It wasn't, I don't believe that it's the defining role behind it, but I think it played a pretty big role on where the anxiety might have stemmed from. And for the most part, I think that the anxiety, as I became older and started to really delve into answers and trying to, you know, find reasons, a lot of it wasn't even so much circumstances that I was going through. It was my outlook on those circumstances. Gotcha. And that was something that my mother doesn't have any control over that. True. You know, she doesn't play a role in how I process things within my own mind. And so I love that in this book, I talk about my mother's situation and through her addiction, and I talk about how I grew up, but then it goes so much deeper than that. It really delves into how we process threats as individuals and how circumstances around us can make it harder to navigate through that, but it's not a defining factor in dealing with your stress, because you can eliminate that part of the issue. Yeah. That part of your life that could have never happened. And this was going to be how I was going to be set up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Regardless. Yeah.
So, yes.
I love it. I love that. So I know you speak about your mom and her addiction, and you talk about how it was to be in that household. Do you feel that because of the things that you saw, that's what sparked your creativity, or you having a passion for creativity?
Yeah. So I think dealing with that as an external thing that I had no control over, that definitely did fuel a little bit of a search within myself, even as a kid, on how to manage through that. How do I get past this? How do I manage through this? Also, people don't give kids enough credit for being able to really observe what happens around them. That was one situation that was terrible and it was hard to get through. There's also school, and then there's also social things that people don't realize affect children sometimes just as strongly as they affect adults.
Yeah.
The uncertainty of the world. Just not being stable and grounded. A lot of those things would have me in a state of frenzy or in an anxious state.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know, one day I was just, I don't know, I've always liked to make stuff. Even as a kid, I used to like to make stuff and write stuff. So I guess I can't pinpoint the exact moment, but I knew that once I sat down and would write my feelings out, or would, not really big on drawing, but maybe create something, some kind of art project, whatever, I would notice that I would be a little calmer. And I would be less in my head and more in the moment and in the present. And that if you're a person that suffers through anxiety, you know how important and valuable those moments are. Yeah. When you're not up here 100% of the time, because that's just kind of how you are when you're an anxious person.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my creativity came from, when I realized that, like, hey, this feels good. Like, I feel good being able to create something beautiful out of this stress that I can come back to and say, yeah, that situation was awful or terrible, but look what came out of it.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because yes, I do know, like, when you're dealing with anxiety, especially like recently, especially with all the times that's going on, I think everybody is dealing with it. Some people are coming to terms with it. Some people are just acting like, oh, I don't see what's going on, I'm not affected, which is true, because we should not be affected by what's going on around us. But it's also mentally taxing, because even the smallest little piece in the back of your mind, you're still thinking about, okay, if this happens, how will this affect my life? Or if this happens, how will this affect my career or affect my household? So, you're always thinking, or you might just be thinking about, what is the next thing I have to do to put me and my family in a better position? Yeah. And so I deal with that all the time. I'm always trying to think about, like, okay, what do I need to do next to put me 10 steps ahead? But then I have to learn how to quiet my mind, because when I start seeing anxiety, like, I've gotten over anxiety. I'm so much more calmer now than I have been in a long time. And I think it's because I've learned how to, like, channel what matters and what doesn't, and what's priority and what can wait. So, a lot of times I might be at work and I'm thinking, and my mind is just going about all the tasks I got to do, plus I'm thinking about what I got to do when I get off. And so I instantly just take some music and I'll put that on. I don't know if you ever heard of Jordan Welch, but I'll listen to her, and she has this song that says, like, I have to show you the what the song is, but it's basically the song that says, "Open the eyes of my heart, Lord." I think CeCe Winans used to sing it initially, but she remade it, and she will say, "Silence the noise in my mind." Ooh. And when she says that, like, that calms me down. So a lot of times, like, when I start feeling crazy, I instantly put that on and I just start just meditating and allowing my mind to reset. And then I'll be like, okay, you know what? Whatever didn't get done today, it won't get done. And God can handle the rest, because I'm not about to stress myself.
Like, sometimes we obsess over what we didn't do, what didn't get done. Like, oh no. And it's easy to obsess over those things, because if you have a mind that's kind of like purpose driven, or you have all these things you want to get done, it's really easy to get caught up and not checking that list. Like, we're really big on making sure we make the marks and check the list and do the things. Yeah. And so it's so easy to get caught up in that. But once you realize that what doesn't get done today will get done the next day, that's it. Very comforting.
That's it. That's all that matters. Now, you becoming a mom Did you become a mom prior to marriage or during your marriage?
So I was a teen mom.
Okay.
Yep. And I talk about that. And it's funny you mentioned that. I will be speaking with some teen moms at some point soon. But yeah, so I was a teen mom. I want to say, I was like 18 when I had my daughter. And my mom was, ironically, she was 17. So we were both teen moms.
Around the same age.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I talk about why I think I gravitated towards love that young and that early in my book. I don't want to delve too far into that.
No,
but there was definitely, please get it. But that was definitely one of my quote unquote coping mechanisms through my anxiety. And looking back on it now, I'm like, okay, that's kind of like what was going on with that and why it was so easy to jump into that, head first when you don't feel that you had a stable enough environment, enough comfort, enough people affirming you, which is a huge topic in my book, just affirmation.
Yes.
I found those affirmations in that situation, in my teen love. And so that's what happened with that.
Okay.
But I do feel like a lot of teen moms could probably relate to that, and to some degree. Obviously, it won't be specific, but they can relate to that in some degree.
Yeah.
That calm you get from another person.
Yeah, I became a teen mom as well. I graduated in 2010. I gave birth in 2011.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't go off to college and things like that. But again, like you said, if me being in a single parent household, I didn't have a male in the household with me. Will I say that I had a child because I was looking for love? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is to feel that love from a male perspective.
That part.
It was different because, my dad was not in the household with us. So when I got older, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just out here dating. But then it's like when you get that male embrace, like, the love and the affirming, like you said, because yes, you can get affirmed from your friends, your mom, your dad, but when it comes from someone else, and especially when you're young, you don't know, you're like, oh, this is different. Okay.
Yes.
So that for me is, how I ended up becoming a teen mom. And it shaped me as a woman. I don't regret it at all. Cause honestly, I feel like life just flew by.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like I was just 19.
Girl, you look 19, so understandable.
Thank you, you too. But at the same time, it's like, but now my daughter is only 4 years shy of being 18. So it's like, it goes by so quick. And, right? It's just certain things that you can't, what I will say is this. There's certain things that you will want to know when you're growing up, right? But sometimes you won't learn those things until you actually live those things.
Of course, experience is the best teacher.
Because
absolutely.
If my mom would have told me everything, and I think that's something I got to get out of.
My mom's did. She did tell me everything, and I still had to go out there and see. So
and it's like, and I'm learning not to do that with my children.
Yes.
Because I would literally tell them I did that exact thing and this is how it happened and stuff. But sometimes now I'm getting to the point where it's like, what? Now you have to learn for yourself. Because I can warn you. But even if I tell you how it's going to turn out, it may not turn out how it turned out for me. It might turn out better. It might turn out worse. But you have to learn that for yourself, and so I think that
it might be a completely different situation for them.
Exactly.
And then they'll wind up at some point kind of resenting you. We're like, oh, well, why didn't you try to push your experiences off on me? And then that could cause a rift between you two. So that makes sense to let them have their own separate experiences.
Exactly.
And it builds character.
That too. It does build character.
Yes.
I think that all experience builds character. The bad, the good, the ugly, the pretty. It all builds your character. It teaches you how to navigate. It teaches you how to kind of read the room and read the situations. Like, is this... Even now, me as an adult, I'm like, is this even worth my energy? Like, should I even should I even entertain this?
So many things aren't.
And you realize that at now later on in age, you realize like a lot of the things that I was giving my attention or energy to wasn't even worth it, you know. But I think that that's what makes us who we are, especially as creatives, that we're able to pick up the smallest things and make them the best things and bigger things.
Bigger and better. And I love that. That's one thing about creating that I absolutely love. For me, it was taking pain and things that were inherently bad or negative and turning them into a positive. That was, for me, what made creating so fun, because it's like, oh, this is what I was given, almost like trash into treasure. This is what I was given, and this is what I created from it.
You being married now, let me ask you this. You being married now, what makes it different from the teenage love you were once referring to versus what made you go from just being a teen mom to now a wife? What's the difference in those two type of situations?
Yes. So when you're a teen, you have an idealized image of love. And for me, as a teen, my baby father was a fighter, and I'm very soft-spoken. I'm very introverted. So, and I'm a very empathetic person, which it bothers me so much sometimes, but that's just who I am. So I've never was around anybody who displayed those qualities, and a man, should I say. I was around women like that, but not so much men. So I'm like, wow, he's gonna fight for me, like, and he did. And so seeing someone with that kind of personality, that attitude, I'm like, oh, this is what love is. This is what protection is. This is what every woman should have from a man, just based off of my limited experience. And then you grow up and you realize that love presents in so many different ways, so many more healthy ways, so many more productive ways. My husband is very much a provider and a lover and a fighter in different ways, not your traditional run-of-the-mill, this is what it looks like kind of way. But he has those qualities, and for me to be a full adult and to be able to distinguish between what those qualities look like and a more stable and mentally secure man, opposed to a man that's fighting the world. You know what I mean? It's really interesting to see the difference. One of those situations is going to be more stable and less combative for a relationship. So that's one of the benefits, I believe.
So I know you said like it'll show up in different ways. So do you feel like your children's father, when he was fighting against the world, do you feel like it was more so because he felt he had to, whereas your husband feels like it's more of a option for me, like, because I'm creating a easier life for those I'm responsible for? I think that's a good deduction to make from that. Okay. I think that with my baby father, a lot of his fighting was just internal, and him dealing through his own trauma. And I talk about that in the book. It's just like when you're young, you don't know. You don't know that a lot of what you feel that's love is a trauma bond. You don't know that a lot of what you feel that you're fighting is you're fighting your past, your upbringing. You're fighting a lot of your own personal issues. And so that's where his aggression came from. Now, granted, I did as his girlfriend benefit from that because people wouldn't bother me. So it's like, oh, I'm protected. Like, like he's going to make sure and never turn from a fight. I don't care how many people it was. So I'm like, oh Lord. But at the same time, there was so much trauma attached to that mindset. And to be a full grown adult and to realize now, like, oh wow, that's unhealthy. That was unhealthy to a degree. Yeah. You know, and then now to be older, obviously we're still working through trauma, right? I'm an adult, but I'm still working through a lot of my trauma, not even just around my anxiety, just in general. I mean, this isn't if this was a life story, honey, it'd be different. This is literally just a memoir. But in my marriage, it's more or less we're understanding of our trauma. We're understanding of our limitations and things that we need to expand and grow on. And we are making active moves towards being better
and getting better and growing better together. So that would be the difference.
I love that. Now, your title, Girl, Ain't Shit Wrong With You, is bold, raw, and affirming. What does that phrase mean for you personally?
Okay. So I get asked this a lot. Girl, ain't shit wrong with you. I just want to mention that it's actually a double entendre. So that means that girl, ain't shit wrong with you. Like, it's really not anything wrong with you. Like, a lot of times we create issues in our own minds and within ourselves, and we project those issues out into the world. And that's one way to look at it. It's really not, it kind of makes you second guess and be like, girl, like, are you doing that thing that you do when you think, you know? So you gives you the second guess. And then also, girl, ain't shit wrong with you is a phrase that I heard a lot growing up. Whenever I had a real valid issue about something that was really bothering me, or something that I'm like, this just doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right.
Exactly.
And I know as a Black woman, a lot of us hear that. A lot of us get that. It can go so deep as to things that you might have experienced in your childhood that are taboo topics that we're to talk, you know, they used to say what goes on in this house stays in this house and stuff like that. So it could be that. It could be you looking for, like, hey, something's going on and I want to be acknowledged and I want to be affirmed. And you didn't get that affirmation. You were told that you were creating a problem that wasn't really a problem. Yeah. And so that's where the trauma part comes in at, because it's like now you're living in an alternate reality where this is your experience. And there's validity in every single experience, whether it's one that is in the mind of someone who has mental challenges, or whether it's just a regular valid experience that everyone can agree with. So to me, girl, ain't shit wrong with you has double meaning. And I think the message that I leave at the end of the book is for you to decide how to use that phrase. Do you use it to regroup? Do you use it to sit and say, am I allowing my sickness or illness to create something that is bigger than what this is? So it's kind of like a self-check.
I love that.
Or is this really something that's valid, that needs to be discussed or needs to be researched? Or, you know, if you feel it in your gut that something is wrong, you can't let, you know, external factors or whatever keep you from getting the answers you really want behind that.
I love that answer.
Thank you.
Because to me, like, when I heard it, I was like, okay, well, maybe she coming for us. When you send me over the title and everything, I was like, okay, she's about to like check us, because sometimes we do need a check. Yes. We do need someone to be real with us and be like, hey, cut that out. Like, you don't need that. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? But then also, as I was reading why you were creating the book, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's like I'm addressing that maybe there's a possibility there is nothing wrong with me, but then also I'm addressing the fact of those who told me there was nothing wrong, but it really was.
Yes.
So
that's a huge
I love that. I love that.
Gaslighting is, I put that as an emphasis. I don't spend the entire duration of the book talking about it. I touch on it briefly, but it's such an important pillar of the book, because I think that is the real problem. That's the real issue with anxiety and other mental health issues, is that we're looking for the affirmation from people, maybe in our social circles, our family, and which is where it starts. You know, that's where your world starts. When you're 15, you know, what's your space? What's your space look like? Your mom, your parents, your friends, school, maybe some activities or groups or whatever. Yeah. And so it starts there. And when you, as a teen who are trying to come together with who you are, putting things together, and you're kind of like just told like, no, just you, like not really a problem, just you. It really messes with your sense of being.
Because like, you think it's no one else that's experiencing or expecting or thinking that the way you are. Yes. You're not. You think that you're the only one who feels this way. So it kind of, like you said, it puts you in isolation, because now you feel like I'm the only one who's going through this. No one else sees what's happening. No one else understands what's happening. Or, you know, so I get that.
Yes,
I get that.
So it's so important it was important to me for the gaslighting to be something that was like pushed to the forefront, because that's where a lot of the issues don't get addressed also. You can spend a lifetime, and I know because I have. You can spend a lifetime thinking like, no, ain't shit wrong with you. You know, you've been told by, and this is not even just, it starts with the family and you know, friends and social groups, but doctors.
Yeah.
You know, it goes so much farther and it gets so much deeper.
Yeah.
If it doesn't present how people think it should present or look how they think it should look, you are told, nope.
Yeah. And we go through that a lot. I'm glad that you said that. I don't think people really understand how, especially as Black women, how much we go through in healthcare to fight for ourselves and fight for how we're feeling and what we know we're experiencing and going through. You know, I was a heart surgery patient, but prior to that, went to the doctor. They just told me, oh, it's just anxiety because I was having palpitations. Oh, here's some medicine. They was throwing me all type of medicines. And I'm like, no, something is something deeper, because I mean, I already knew I had a heart murmur since I was a child. So, but I didn't know. I thought it had dissolved because, again, that's the medical field telling my mom, oh, well, it'll dissolve. It'll go away on its own. Yeah. Fast forward 20 plus years later, here we are where, you know, I'm trying to get testing done. Then I'm going and I'm talking to other doctors that's in the same office, but I'm trying to go to a Black woman, but they're telling me like, oh, well, she can't cross cover for the other provider because they're in the same department and they're in the same hospital. So then it was like you had to go outsource, like you had to go outside of your network or outside of where, you know, you usually would go in order to get some type of answers. Wow. And then it took for me to relocate to Georgia to find out like, what they told you was nothing to worry about and was benign. You actually have to have surgery for this. So, you know,
you never done that.
Exactly. But you have to advocate for yourself in all aspects of your life.
In all aspects.
You have to advocate for yourself because people will easily shun you out or be like, oh, that's nothing, oh, whatever, like, you know, but you have to advocate for yourself because if you don't, who will?
Girl, you get it. You get it. That's what this book is about. That's what this book is about. It's about not taking the no. Mm-hmm. It's about not taking the ain't shit wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that serious. If you know in your heart, it's something. Mm-hmm. It's something. Do the research. Do the digging. Do not quit. Get your answers.
Within the book, do you feel like there were certain things you had to take out because you thought you might have offended someone or spoke too freely about?
Yeah. So, no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I knew I was going to do this. Mm-hmm. And me and my mom my mom and my uncle, actually, we had a brunch. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to take you guys a brunch. I need to tell you something big. Mm-hmm. And I sat them down and I said, so I'm getting ready to write a book. Oh, you're finally going to write your book? That's great. I said, hang on.
Because I got to the part.
Real quick. Mom, I'm writing this book and it's not focused on your journey behind your addiction, mm-hmm. but it is mentioned. Mm-hmm. And I want you to know that I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to come from an earnest place and I'm going to come from an honest place. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you're going to feel about what's said, but I wanted to make sure you knew first mm-hmm. that my journey is going to be shared in my words on my terms. Mm. And I was so worried what she was going to say. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Cause you know, again, this was 30 something years ago, but still, you know, I was like, oh, here we go. And she was like, girl, write that book.
Okay, good.
She gave you the green light. Write it just how you want to write it. Write it exactly. Don't hold back. Write it exactly how you want to write your story. And when she told me that, when your mom gives you the green light, who else approval are you looking for? Yeah. So I was like, everybody else, y'all will be good. Y'all will be good.
When you look back at, you know, how you and your mom's relationship has grown, do you feel that there's certain things that you've learned from you all's relationship to make you be a better mom with your children? Like, you know, when it comes to just advice or anything?
That's a great question. And I'm so glad you asked it because I've been waiting for a chance to talk about me and my mom's current relationship. Okay. This book was written a few years ago, but it talks about an area in my life that was a very, very long time ago. My mother was 22 mm-hmm. when she had us. And so for me, who she was then is not who she is now. Now, when I was a young woman, as so often do young women do, we're like, oh, I'm going to be 10 times better. I want to be 10 times better as a mom, as a leader, as a woman. I can see all the things my mom didn't do right, and I'm just going to knock it out of the park and be this amazing, better person. And then life happens, and you start experiencing some things, and you start going through some things and seeing some things, and you realize that you are not better.
No.
You are not a better woman than your mother was. You can even make better decisions in some cases, but guess what? The mistakes are going to be in other areas.
Yes.
And for me, it took me to be this big age to really honor and respect my mother, like not just say it, but to really feel it and really mean it. That woman is amazing. Yes. And who she was then is not who she is now. So 30 something years later, she is an entrepreneur. She runs her own business. She got grandchildren that she adores and dotes on. And to see the evolution is amazing, and it gives me so much hope for what my life's going to be like. It's awesome.
I love that so much.
Thank you.
And I love that you're able to talk about the past, but also give flowers and give recognition for the growth and where things are currently. Yes. Is there one thing that, just being honest, that you realized about yourself as you begin to heal and write this book as well? Was there something that stuck out to you?
Yes.
About yourself?
So for me, reoccurring themes as far as ways that I negatively cope through my anxiety. I think that it's important for me to mention to people that God is not done with me yet.
Listen.
I am not at any stage in this conversation or this situation a completely done and person. I haven't checked all the boxes. I haven't dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. I'm still healing. I'm still learning. And in writing this book, I was able to identify like you're still doing some of those same tactics, some of those same self-serving behaviors to get through your moments when you know that they don't go anywhere. And I think that's where the continued therapy comes in at. And the book does talk about seeking help and getting therapy. It doesn't talk solely about that as just a one type of coping mechanism, but I think that it's a pillar because it shows continual growth. When you're going through therapy, and if you're doing it the right way, you're uncovering things bit by bit, and you're consistently working on something.
Yes.
And I think that's the part of therapy that I 100% support and approve.
Yeah.
The continual growth, because you can get an answer and you can get a solution, but then that might just be serving in that particular moment.
Exactly.
When you continue on your journey and you continue to learn and grow and make it a actionable thing that you're doing consistently, you really are able to be the best version of yourself.
I agree. I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for a year now.
Nice.
But I love it because every time I go, I'm opening up a new layer. Then sometimes I hate it too because then I have to be honest and hold myself accountable for something. Like sometimes I hate telling my therapist, it's like, when you go to God, you don't want to tell God something like, he already know. But
he already know.
But you got to go to him and tell him, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, yeah, I shouldn't have been doing whatever, because we talked about this last session. Just like with God, we talked about this in the last prayer and the last conversation we had, but somehow I still ended up going back. But I think that's, the beauty of therapy, and that's the beauty of having a relationship with God. That's the beauty of being able to be honest with yourself, because maybe the next time you make a mistake, you won't make it as bad,
right?
Or you won't slip up as bad, like, because okay, I know I ain't really supposed to be doing this, so I might make that call, but maybe I won't make that call and it won't be too long, or I might take that drive, but then as I'm taking that drive, I might turn around,
right?
Just things like that, because you're starting to, it's conviction, that's what in church and with God, that's what it's called, but in therapy, it's just accountability.
It's accountability.
And just being accountable. And I think
a whole
that
chapter on that because it's so important.
Now I got to read the book.
And I don't want people to think that this is a woe is me book. That's another thing I really want to say about it. It's not just me crying about the bad things that happened to me. It's not just me blaming others externally for why I didn't receive help or why I didn't do what I should have done. It's not just that. It's a full account. It's a full account of these situations. I'm looking at them from a part where the support was needed and the part where I was supposed to be the one accountable for my own growth and my own health. And that's why this book is so, it's gonna change lives. I can't even put in words, because I know
you're your mama. Listen, we here, we listen, and we don't judge, and you can cry if you need to. Because
I'm sorry.
You're okay. You are okay.
Whew, okay. You have to be accountable for your own actions.
Yes.
And that means when you're searching for the help, you're searching for the answers, when you are looking for your support system. I talk a lot about support and what the support looks like for different people and for different reasons. And your accountability is separate from that, but it's so important when you're looking externally, because if you can't own the parts that you play in your own health and your own life, then there is not anything that another person can do for you.
You are so right.
Absolutely nothing. Not the therapist, not even God.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to take that to him.
Yeah.
And you can't even take it to him. How can you notice when he's moving in your life?
Yeah.
And so that's why accountability is such a big factor. And it is kind of looking externally and saying these are things that make it difficult. But it's also saying, hey, these are the cards we were dealt. This is what we've done. This is what we've done.
Yeah.
How can we set this up to where we can win regardless?
Yes. And so, speaking on that, and having said that, what do you feel, I always ask people, what would you tell your younger self? But I feel like there's something that you would want to tell your mom from when you were younger. So if you could tell your mom one thing, speaking to her at that point back then, what would you say?
I get it. I get it. I understand. Because I didn't understand. I was a kid. And as a kid, it's easy to see things in just black and white, or the ideal picture of what you see on TV, what the families are supposed to be, what your peers might be, maybe what their household is like or their families are like. And then just not even really coming into womanhood yet. A lot of what she was dealing with, to look back on it now, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my gosh, I get it. I understand. I understand why you could be so hopeless. I understand why you could be so just encumbered by doubt and fear and the weight of raising a family without the proper support, and your own dreams that never came to fruition. That because you're a person, so you have dreams, you have goals of your own.
Yeah.
So I understand how all that can just weigh on you and make it hard to maneuver in life the way you really want to in your heart, to where the way that God made for you to.
Yeah.
And that's why seeing her today is just, it hits on so many different levels, because I'm like, man, I know what she's come through. I know what she's dealt with. And, again, I understand. I get it. Like, I don't agree with a lot of the choices and decisions, but I understand. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to leave that one at,
So what can your followers or new supporters expect from you in the upcoming months? So, any new projects, anything you have coming soon? Sure.
So right now I'm gearing up for another book signing. My last one was the beginning of this month, October 9th, I believe. So just a few weeks ago, but it was such a success. I want to thank everybody who came out. I'm already emotional, but that right there would just remembering I had so much support. And then there were those who supported in other ways who couldn't actually physically make it to get their book signed. So we're running it back.
Love it. When is the new date?
The new date, we're looking at 11/22.
Okay.
That's a tentative date. We're still working on some details of finalizing it, but I will be sure to post everything on my both my social media platforms, well, all three, because I'm on Facebook now as well.
Okay.
So there's my audacious pen on Instagram, and then there's it's me _Toya_Royale on Instagram as well.
Okay.
So I'll be posting those dates, and then I'm also in the process of speaking with a youth coordinator. I think she runs a youth home, or I don't know specifically her position, so I apologize for that. But she had requested for me to come out and speak to the girls. I believe it's going to be a group of girls who are in the foster system, and then also who are teen moms. Okay. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Like the child in me and the young woman in me is just like so excited to talk to these girls, because I know that what being that place, and I'm sure you can probably understand too, what that place feels like. Even if it's not their exact story, I can identify with some key elements, and I can't wait to speak with them about the full book and just get into solutions
and help them navigate, because they need it. It's a lot of resources out now that we didn't have.
Girl.
We had some resources, and then again, even going back to like our parents and stuff, they didn't have as many resources that we got. So you have to understand, and you have to get it,
and it gets better too. The more time goes by, the more we can gather resources, and then you become the resource.
That's exactly. What you got to do.
Is this what life is about? Like, okay, I think I'm seeing what's going on here. Like, you are put here for a purpose. Every single person, and even if it's not in this particular way or in this field, your life will tell you what that purpose is. It will show you what your story to share is and what you can do to help. And so that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm seeing a lot of things being revealed for, like, this is why you went through this. This is why your journey is like it was. Is meant to help and heal and to share and affirm. And that's really what I'm hoping to do with future projects. So I have those two for sure. And I'm shout out to anybody who listening. Like, I'm open. Hit me up.
She's ready. She's willing and ready to come out and speak. And she's ready to get in contact with the youth. So if you're watching and you have a youth program, I think you will be a great fit for my previous guest. One of my previous guests, her name's Latoya as well.
Oh, really?
Fowler, and she owns Beyond the Toy Box, and she has a youth group or a nonprofit that she's working with the youth on getting through different things as teens, especially with single parent households or losing parents and things of that nature. So that might be a good connect for you all. But tell people how they can actually get the book. Like, where can they purchase it?
Okay. Well, you can get my book, Girl Ain't Shit Wrong With You. So cute. It's available right now on Amazon, both an ebook and the hard copy. And then I also have my own site, Books By. I can link, or I can...
Yeah, I don't know how you could send it over to me, and we'll get it put
it's
up.
Also, if you follow me, it's definitely linked in my bio, and I post all that information. But those are the two that are working for sure. I'm still working through Barnes and Noble to get on their sites, and then also I'm going to be around the city. I'm going to be doing book signings. I'm going to be going to events, and I feel so strongly about this message to where I didn't think this was going to be what I would be doing. I thought I was just going to write the book and that's it. But then something in me, God, there you go. Something in me was like, you know what? That's not what this is. This isn't just a project to me. It's not just something that I did that I can say I did. It means a lot to me. It really does. And so I will be actually selling this book. If I got to get out here door to door, girl.
Yes.
Buy my book.
Grassroots method.
Buy my book.
Yes. So. Yes. I'm so proud of you. I thank you for coming on. I pray that whoever tunes into this episode, that they learn about mental health, and they learn about accountability, and they learn how to forgive and understand the parenting that they may have experienced that they may not feel was up to their standards, because They were young. They didn't understand, like you said, and that they know that they can navigate and turn their pain and turn, the challenges and struggles into purpose like you have. Yes. So again, thank you for coming through the confessional. And I hope you come back again when you write the next book.
Yes, and there will be a next one.
Yes.
It's coming.
Well, I'll be here waiting here at the confessional for you, and cheering you on from the sidelines as I have been. And again, thanks, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.